Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene. Yes, it does not say SQS on my refrigerator. That's because I have Fabric Frenzy 20 going on at the time that I'm recording this, and I need a video for Sampler Quilt Sunday, and it's already Saturday, and I like to upload that Saturday night, so I need to do it. I thought I would be able to work on it yesterday, but my sale was pure insanity. It was so fun and exciting and very stressful all at the same time. I like work days like that. Today is Saturday, and the sale is always much slower on Saturday, so I think I can knock out a quilt block. And I'm going to tell you my plan. Well, I don't have a plan, so what can I call it? Here's what I have in my head, and when I get to the table, I'm going to try to figure out how to do it. I had showed you, once upon a time, these pizza slices, I'm calling them, that I had cut from this strip set that I made, and they just look like, whoops, excuse me. I'm back. Did you miss me? I had cut some slices like this, only 3, and I just thought they were kind of cool. And then I thought they could make a flower if I put them together. So that's my plan for my next block. It's going to be, again, a long rectangular block. I want a flower at the top, a stem, and some leaves. That's what I see in my brain. We'll see if I can do it. Now, I don't know if I'll use just this for the flower. I have another strip set that's kind of similar and has, you know, pretty much the same look, but yet a little different. So I might, cut from both of these. I do know that in between the petals will be my background, and I'm using that mottled kind of tan, beige, whatever it is. For the stem, I have some options. I can go ahead with one of my strip sets again and cut that narrower. I would love for my stem to be curvy, not just a straight up and down line. But I don't know. I might be going with a straight up and down line. Just 'cause I might. If I were to make it curvy, I have options. I could do paper piecing, which I haven't done yet, or I could cut curves and sew curves together. I have done that, and that's not all that hard to do, but I would not really want to attempt it with something with a lot of seams. Although with a lot of seams, there's some give. See, it's like, almost like an accordion a little bit. I don't know. Again, I will figure that out when I go to the table. My other option is I could just go ahead and make the stem out of these small prints, one of these small prints that I picked up, remnants. And I'm thinking that this one might be especially cool since there's a lot of green in it. So I could just cut my stem out of that. It would still be quite funky. These shapes even make good leaves. Oh, I might do that. I didn't even realize that or think of that until just this moment. Could you tell by my expression that I had a fresh idea? And then I have other little things. This would work for a stem too. This, probably not so much. I don't want to use this because I love this so frigging much that I can't bring myself to use it. I also want to recreate these little squares, but not little like that. But I want to study them, and I think I would love to make a quilt like this. I really do, but bigger blocks. This could make a stem. I could even cut this way if I wanted to, have some green in it, or maybe like an aqua like that. This, again, I don't know. I'm not feeling stemmy for this. This could make a cool stem. Again, this way or this way. So I have a lot of choices. I have a lot of decisions to make. Did I lose a pizza slice? No, I did not. And I also know that I want the fabric, especially between the pizza slices, which will be my background, I would like there to be piecing there too. Just all background, but I want some, some lines where there's some seams. So let's go over to the table and see if I can get this done. Trying a different angle. So far, I think I like it. What I'm going to do is I'm using my background. I'm just curious to, just lay these out to see. I do want them far enough apart so that a lot of background shows in between. It's going to make a very big flower. If I wanted to make it smaller, I could just cut off at the tip. I think I'd rather cut off there and leave the width alone. And another thing I forgot is that I'm going to need a center. So I can do either a circle if I want, or I could be weird and do a square in the center. A triangle, can do anything I feel like doing. And I do think that I'm going to go with the 2 strip sets just to bring in like some of these flowers. I guess I just need to make a decision. Hang on. I am going to go ahead and cut from these 2 kind of matchy strip sets. And I think I need 4 or 5 petals. Are those petals? Of each. So I'm just going to cut another triangle out of the first one, and I want them to be different widths. So now I have 4 of this kind. And now this one is taller, so I need to decide where I want to cut. I don't like to cut like right on a seam, so I probably should keep more of this end. I don't know, I hate to lose that red line. Gee, I never even thought that I could even cut some on the diagonal. That would have looked really cool. But I don't know if I want to mix diagonal with this. But that gives me an idea for the future. Alright, I just seriously sat and stared at this for a long time, and I'm still undecided. Did I really want that many blocks to have brown on the end? Oh my god, this is hard. You know what I could do to be happy? Maybe I can add another strip here so that I'm cutting like on the floral and on that strip. And then I would be saving all this part for future shit. I have so many choices. You should see the strips I have. Check these out. These are going to be all little 2-inch squares that I sell. I do a lot of cutting. I really do. But here are just a few that I pulled. I'd like to introduce plaid, and then I also like this green, but I think I do have, quite a bit of green, so maybe not this one. Or I have some, like a nice soft kind of purple with flowers, so I like that. That would go good with, flowers and flowers. Or a brighter purple, but it's very little print. I don't know, not as interesting. I think I'm going to go with this purple right there. So I'm going to just go sew these 2 together. I'm good with that. I love how it made that red strip very narrow. I just love stuff like that. Now I'm just going to take one of these to see. So each piece now, when I turn it, is going to start with the floral and end with the floral. I'm good with that. Do love very much. Ew, I don't want to cut through all of this, so I'm just going to cut that off. And cut it right there. And now this one is going to go in that direction. So at this point, I don't need to measure. I just know this is my piece. So here's 1, 2, 3. Nice and wonky. Let's bring my background back. I think 8 is going to be perfect. This video is going to be the top only of this flower. I did not realize it was going to be this huge, but I'm glad because I have a massively huge block in this already, so huge will be good. And at this point, I'm still not concerned about placement. After I have like maybe 4 blocks done, then I need to start deciding where they will go so I know what I need to fill in, and those will be little blocks, and I'm very anxious to do some small blocks too, just very simple things. I have to figure out how I'm going to cut my background to put this mess together. Here's what I'm going to do. I put some paper together, and again, I'm not doing paper piecing, but I am going to make some little patterns for the pieces that I need in between, because I, don't want them spaced perfectly evenly, and I think that, this is good as I adjust to make it more even. And I'm going to just trace around these blocks, and then that's going to give me pattern pieces. And I want to piece some of these. So I think this is going to work. And I'm using a fine point marker, and I don't care if it touches the tips or the edges, because that's all going to get lost in the seam allowance. But I'm drawing on tape, and I didn't want to have to press hard, so just to give me an idea. That's terrible, terrible circle. I'm going to just go around these, and all I have to remember is that when I cut out my pattern pieces, I will have to add a seam allowance, or they're all going to be, much closer together. This is not an easy task. I'm very wobbly. Yes, I know some of you are probably screaming at me that there are easier ways to do this. I'm doing it all wrong. And, I actually did try to look up some videos, but I couldn't really find anything that was in my head. And so I'm just making it up as I go. That's the whole fun part for me. And we learn so much by just winging it. We learn, things that we can do. We learn things that maybe didn't really work. That's always good to learn. So I'm good with this. Now before I remove all these, I have to number them, or I'm going with A, B, C, D. So A, B, C, D, like that. It would have helped if I wasn't on this warped mat of mine. I could have done this directly on the table. Now I'm going to mark what's going to become my pattern pieces. So I'm going to put A here, B here. So I know this is going to touch A and B. B, C, C, D. I'm going to turn this. G, H. I can draw an H upside down. And I can do an upside down A also. Let me get rid of this freaking stupid mat. A, B, C. All right, I'm done with all of these for right now. And now I'm just going to cut out this gigantic flower, not with my favorite scissors. These are my shitty scissors. Ooh, those cut pretty good. Now these are the pieces that I want as my patterns. So let me just get those all cut. I am doing such a terrible job. I just want to show you that you can do a terrible job, and it might still come out okay. Okay, now I can start to put some background pieces together, and I did save a whole bunch of pieces, and I'm going to use a lot of these pieces. I'm just going to, sew them together. I want some nice seams, and then I will, make it big enough just to give me an idea of, the size that I need, and then I can cut my pieces out. And I am going to cut with a seam allowance. I want a generous amount. Okay, so I just slapped this together. I made a couple of lines. And the one thing I noticed is that I always seem to think I'm going to have enough fabric. And, I'm really cutting it close, so I'm doing it sideways. And I have my right sides facing up. I just want to cut that way. And I just have to remember that I need to cut bigger than my block, so I have plenty of room. I'm just going to pin it so it stays put. I don't need a seam allowance at the top, so I'm just gonna, kind of trim like that. And also here at the bottom, a little bit bigger than I need. Now, so this is G and H. I grabbed G and H. Why is that like that up there? Is that gonna cause me trouble? Maybe I need to move this over a little bit. That's what I'm saying. It's like we think we have enough and we don't quite. I'm still putting it together. So I want G on this side. So where's my G? I don't want that. I want this. G here and H here. And I'm just going to sew this here and this here. Okay, be right back. I totally have to add to this corner. I'm so mad that I didn't get that better than that. So I'm just going to take a corner and I'm going to sew like this. And when I pick it up, I can trim and I'll just have another lovely seam. I'm not going to argue about that. But I'm going to try to find a smaller piece because I don't want to waste a big piece like that. So I added to my corner, just like crumb quilting, and I'm going to trim it in both directions. Now I have my background and I'm going to attach G to that. I am so happy with this already. You guys have no idea how much I'm enjoying this. That's why I'm doing it instead of getting packages ready. I think I'm going to aim to have my centers kind of touching. Now, this isn't going to come out perfect, but the thing is when I get to the last section that I have to add, I can adjust. Or maybe, this is what we can do. I'm going to do little 3 patches like this. Then I will lay those down and maybe I can adjust whatever pieces I need to put them together. So let's just pick another piece. Let's do A, B this time. So I'm going to find my A and my B. And I'm just going to do the same thing, only I'm going to try to do a better job at making my background wedge big enough so that I don't have to add after the fact. But look how cool that came out with that extra little seam there. Oh, I just love it. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy. I have my next slice done. One of the things I like best that I am doing is having lines in my background. I just think it breaks it up and it just goes with, the fact that this is a lot of piecing. So I hated for that to just be plain. The other thing is I get to use up these scraps instead of starting, with new yardage. I'm just so happy with this. I have 2 slices made. Let's keep going. I had so much fun doing this. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe how much I love this project. So let me just show you again. I can't remember exactly which ones you saw, but there's A, B, and that had just 2 lines in the background, and I liked that. And then I have A, B. Okay, C, D. Look at this one. It's like a fan at the top. I did have to start using regular background. I cut a big, wide strip because I didn't want a gazillion seams. I want some, but not a gazillion. And I hope I have enough background. I only bought 2 yards, and I'm going through it pretty quickly, and I have a long way to go. So I might need to go pick up another yard or 2 just to be on the safe side. Okay, so there's C, D, E, F. Some nice lines happening in this one too. Oh, look, even a little corner here. Oh, how sweet. And then GH right here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to revisit this. I'm going to put them back in their circle, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I want to see if the pattern pieces you know, are going to still work or if I might need to change something. So I'm looking for BC. BC right here. Let's just put that here. Any DE right here. But, you know, my flower petals are much narrower, but that's okay. I hope it looks like a flower. FG will go here, and HA. I think all these pieces work. I think just this piece doesn't. I'm going to need to recut that a little bit wider. Actually, this is what I'm going to do. I had crumpled up my paper, so I ironed it. I'm going to try to just tuck this under here. And now I can just draw that again. Now I have a new piece, and that is FG. FG. And I have a new pattern piece. I'm going to toss the other one. I think what I'm going to do is like attach this piece to here, this piece to here, this piece to here, this piece to here. So we'll have still 4 pieces, but just bigger slices of the pie. I also want to remind you guys that if I have a big piece like this, which is something that I cut, if I want a line in it somewhere, I do not have to cut it and sew it back together. I just fold it, and then I can stitch right close to the edge because it's not a raw edge. That edge isn't going to fray. I just sew right close to the edge, and then it makes a nice line. Let me show you. It's going to be hard to see with the color of the thread, but can you see? I sewed right almost to the tippity top. Focus, focus please. There, I think you can see it. And then when I open it, I have a nice line. You don't know how satisfying this is. I now have 4 segments, and I think they're still going to work. I just need to put them together. My flower can be wonky, although, again, because I really don't know what I'm doing, it's starting to look like the background is the actual petals because the flower petals are a little bit lost. If I wanted to, I could cut maybe not all of these, but some of these wider pieces and add another petal. I could do that. I really could. I think I'll put it together first though, because then I can always cut it after the fact. I almost think I'm going to stop at this point because I really need to do a lot of other things, and I'm really not happy with this, the way it's coming out, because I'm just looking in my little screen here and it's looking like the background is taking over. However, when background is all around this, then this will start to pop. But I still think I'm going to stop now so I can just get a break from this. I will come back to it when I'm feeling a little bit, more like working on it, and that will be part of the next video. I definitely wasn't going to tackle the stem today. I knew I wouldn't. So let's just stop here, and I'll be back next Sunday with Sampler Quilt Sunday, and you can see what I decided on. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!